Hello. In this assignment, we will be writing exponential equations and learning the intuition behind it. As a review of the type of rate of change we've been working with for the past couple of weeks, because we are changing to a different kind of rate of change, the rate of change we've been doing is adding or subtracting a certain amount each time. We know that we dealt with a rate of change. We always had a zero term and a beginning amount. That was sometimes represented with the variable b. And then we had our equations, either ms plus b, or we had b plus mx. And that was, $3 a gallon, plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, etc. So now, what we are working with is exponential equations. Exponential equations are going to look a little different. I'll explain what these are. The rate of change is multiplying though, so instead of adding $3 per gallon, we're going to be multiplying by 3, tripling or doubling. And so our multiplier is going to be represented by this r, and the zero term is still going to be represented by b. Okay, so you'll notice that when we start doing problems, the beginning amount is going to be like right here, so it'll be like, $100. And then the multiplier, it's going to be like tripling, so they'll look something like this instead of 100 plus 3 multiply x, right? So instead of this, it's going to look more like this now, and you'll see why. Okay, so right now we're just going over the general format, but as usual, we are going to build the equations. Okay, so in general, they're going to look like this, and this means that we need to find the beginning amount, just like we always do. We know how to find a zero term, that number is going to go there, and then our multiplier, which will go there. So 2 things we have to find for each one, just like the last equation and type of rate of change we learned. So here we have Bob studying biology, and he's analyzing the number of cells in a petri dish. There are 20 cells at the beginning of the experiment, and those cells are doubling every day. So we have 20 cells at the beginning, and they're doubling, right? So doubling means multiplying by 2. It's 20 times 2, 40. 40 times 2 is 80. 80 times 2 is 160, right? So even from there, we can find our zero term. I meant at the beginning 20, we get that from the problem, 20 cells, and the multiplier, 2, right? Because it's doubling, okay? Sorry about the dogs, those are my mom's dogs barking in the background. And so that means if we just look at the pure format of the equation, b times r to the x, we don't know why the equation is like this right now. We'll get why it becomes like this. We're just plugging them in for now. We get y equals 20 times 2 to the x, because the 20 is the b, the amount, multiplier is in the parentheses in the r. Bill is playing a video game, and where he has the number of points being tripled after each round. And he starts the game with 10 points. So if he starts with 10 points, and they triple, which means multiplying by 3, then we just multiply by 3. 10 times 3 is 30, 30 times 3 is 90, 90 times 3 is 270. Once again, we can get our zero term beginning amount, 10 points. Our multiplier is 3. So if we just plug them into the equation that we don't know why it looks like this yet, 10 goes where the b is, beginning amount, multiplier 3, goes to the r is 10 times 3 to the x power. Lastly, so this one, your multiplier is going to be a little different, so make sure you write clearly in this box to the left. So Bob, he is investing $1,000, and this $1,000, it's going to grow 15% rate per year. This does not mean multiplying by 15. This is different than that. Okay, so it's growing by 15%. This is how we're going to make money here. Our multiplier, okay, is going to be a little different this time. We still set up our information the same, 0, 1,000. We know that, we write the numbers counting up right there, but we have to find out what this multiplier is. Okay, and the multiplier is going to be 1.15, but how do we get there? So what we do when we have a multiplier that is a percent, we have to take that 15% and convert it to a decimal first. Remember, we know how to convert a percent to a decimal. Percent means out of 100, 15 over 100, 15 divided 100, right, is 0.15. Once you get that 0.15, you have to add 1 to it. So 0.15 is not your multiplier. Your multiplier is 1 plus 0.5, which gives you 1.15. So make sure you have this part neat, and you can actually understand it because you'll have to do this a couple times. So we multiply by 1.15. 1000 times 1.15, 1150 times 1.15, 1322.50 multiplied by 1.15 again. Our amount at the beginning was $1,000, multiplied as 1.15, which gives us an equation of 1000 times 1.15 to the x power. When you start the assignment, this will give you enough information to be able to fill in the rest of these boxes. Thank you for listening.